Welcome everyone to episode 35 of Raw Sport, a very special episode for a big day here in Australia, ANZAC Day. Tony, how are you, brother? How's things?
Good morning, Ahmed. Now, I know we say every week we've got a special guest, but there is none bigger than our next.
Absolutely, mate. This is the man who's been the face of Australian boxing for a long time. And honestly, we haven't had a chance to speak to him recently, and thank God he's feeling better now, and we have him with us. But Jeff, it's always an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for joining us on the show. How are you, buddy? How's things?
And it's been tough the last 2 weeks. I've had 7 litres of fluid and taken out of my lungs. I've been really hard time sleeping. There's been nights where I thought, I was going to die because I couldn't lay down. I've rushed to hospital a few times. But yesterday I had 2.3 litres taken off my lungs, and I've changed some medication and stuff, and I'm feeling really good today. I get this PIC line taking out. It's been there for the last 6 weeks, been getting antibiotics 24 hours a day. That gets taken out in an hour and a half. I can't wait because all the food that I eat doesn't taste good at all. So I'm looking forward to being able to eat normally and get back to normality. It's been maybe the toughest 7 weeks of my life.
Jeff, you sound good. You're speaking with clarity. You obviously know what's going on, and I say that with the utmost respect. Was it as serious as you thought that your days on earth were coming to an end?
To be honest, Tony, I'll say this, and people will tell me I'm crazy, but if they told me I've got to go through what I just went through, I'd prefer not to be here. I don't want to put my family through what I put them through. I was hallucinating. I was going crazy in the hospital. I'm just blessed that the staff at Strathfield Private Hospital and the surgeon, Paul Bannon, they looked after me so well. And of course, in a way, I want to say I did get spoiled at the end because I was so outspoken, but there's not a chance in the world that I've gone through this twice now in the last 5 years, and I never want to go through this again. And the truth is that we don't know this staph disease that I've had twice in the last 5 years could come back any time and attack my vital organs again. And I'd hate to see it, but I was very lucky, just for you guys to know, for the people out there to know that when the staph went into my system and went straight to my vital organ, my valve again, I can show you some photos later, you can put up if you want to, but when I was very lucky when the infection fell from my valve, they fell down, one into my calf, one into my wrist. My kidney was completely ruined, but it's getting better now. But I had a operation on my calf, which was horrendous. I've got an artificial vein in my calf now, so operation with a scar that big. The pain was, look, I mean, not the pain, but the mental pain was just unbearable.
Would it be understated to say that you would have had, you have millions of fans around the world through boxing and through you as a person. I gather you're spending a lot of your time sending and responding text messages.
Yeah, it's been crazy all around the world. And, like Mauricio Sullivan, the president of the WBC, wants to fly out and see me. I had a message from Manny Pacquiao. I've had calls from Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis, and Ian Healy from Australia, or so many different athletes. John Stephenson's been with me every day. I've been, that way I feel totally blessed, Tony. But to go through the pain I went through, shit, I don't know if anybody deserves it or if anybody should have to go through it. Now I realise what my dad went through, because my dad had these operations, and my dad never complained, and I'm not complaining, but I just being totally honest and out there that, wow, I never want to go through this again.
Well, one more before I throw you on to Ahmed. Can you please tell us and all your fans that you're on the mend?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the mend. I want to thank my friends from AWI and Paul Marabito and Joe Molnari, Anthony Luizos. These guys have been with me every single day, Sammy from Outright. Luz Ivanovic has driven down from Penrith, come and see me, make sure everything's all right, make sure my family's all right. Again, how much do I want to thank them? I want to, but do I want to go through this again? Do I want to put all these friends of mine through this stuff? No, I don't. So I just hope I can have a really good recovery. I can get on and just lead a normal life.
Well, hopefully now, Jeff, you're on the way up and back to full health. We've had some big fights in recent times in Australian boxing. You're a man who's held the flag for us as a nation for many, many years, and many look at you as the greatest ever in our country's boxing history. Jeff, Tim Tszyu went over to Vegas, lost a big fight to Sebastian Fundora. A lot of criticism about his corner, a lot of criticism about the rematch clause. We had Samson from Samson Boxing, who's the promoter of Fundora, on this show, claiming that there is no rematch sign. We heard the Tszyu camp stating that they had a contract, and the exact quote in Australian media was, "Good luck getting out of the contract." And then 24 hours ago, we hear Virgil Ortiz versus Tim Tszyu, sponsored on the big Saudi card on August the 3rd in California. What's going on, mate? What is the deal here? I mean, you've seen it all before. You give us your perspective, mate.
Yeah, first and foremost, I've known Samson for over 30 years. I've done lots of deals with Samson. He's a beautiful man. He loves his boxing. He's been involved and helped numerous boxers from all around the world. When I had Glenn Kelly, he was part of me getting the fights with Roy Jones and all that stuff. But the thing, man, listen, I love Tim Tszyu. I think what Tim showed us the other night was amazing. But did Tim have to show us that? No, he didn't. Tim didn't have to go through that for 12 rounds. Tim, after the 4th round, could have been sitting down, still world champion. For this fight, whether it be Virgil Ortiz or a rematch, could have been getting $15 million more than he's going to get. And so, listen, I'm just a realist, and I just tell the truth. I think that Tim's corner and team made a mistake that day. Whether, again, nobody does anything on purpose because nobody wants anybody to go through what Tim went through. But it was a mistake, and it could have been, like I said, done the easy way where after 4 rounds, even if it was a draw, he's still going to retain the title as a champion. He won the first 2 rounds clearly. All he had to do was win another round or even another round even, and he was going to remain world champion. And we wouldn't really be talking about what we're talking about today because there's no need to be. But we are now because, like I said, I think that Tim's corner and the people in the corner made a few mistakes that day. And we all make mistakes. But like I said, I don't know. Just think of this, if Tim loses against Ortiz, or if he loses his next couple of fights, and when he looks at his bank account in a couple of years' time, it could be $15 or $20 million difference if the corner stopped the fight at the right time back then.
Is that the first time you've said that publicly?
Yes, it is, Tony. I mean, I've spoken to people and I've talked about it. And like I said, for me, whether Tim's head was cut in half or Tim has already shown to me that he might go down as the greatest Aussie fighter ever if he gets back on the horse that he was on just prior to this fight and continues to improve at the rate that he was. So like I said, Tony, I'm just being honest. And Tim didn't need to go through that for 12 rounds. Everybody say, "Oh, how tough was Tim?" We all know that Tim's tough. We all know that Tim's great. We all know that Tim would fight under any circumstance. We didn't have to see that. We did see it, but he lost. So it wasn't the right moves to make.
What would you have done, Jeff?
Well, I would have told Tim in round 3. Excuse me. Would have told Tim in round 3, let's win one more round, champ, and at the end of the 4th round, I'll tell the referee we can't see, which he couldn't. The fight would have been stopped, and we went to the scorecards. He would have won. He would have been in front, and he would have won. But like I said, even without telling him that, they stopped it after the 4th round, which they should have, which the doctor should have, which the referee should have, which the corner should have. So there's a lot of people who take the blame. If they'd done that, even if it's a draw, Tim's still the world champion. He's the world title holder. So the person that is the champion retains the title. And for this fight, he would have been champion still.
Jeff, where to now for Tim Tszyu?
Oh, no, listen, I have no doubt that Tim will jump back on the horse and he's going to do what he done again. And people are going to talk about it. But like I said, still, I have the utmost confidence and belief in Tim. Like I said, I've watched him grow, and even in that fight, I've seen some amazing stuff. Again, but stuff I didn't have to see because, nobody ever had the question, was Tim Tszyu tough? Would Tim Tszyu fight with blood in his eyes? Would Tim Tszyu fight under any circumstance? Yes, he would. He's an amazing, absolute champion. But like I said, he went through 12 rounds of horrific pain and
blood.
Unease that he didn't have to, Tony.
Yeah.
Could that cut have been stopped? Or
I'm going to say one more thing. When there's a cut, you need to put pressure on the cut. And when the referee tells you to get out of the ring you stay there as long as you can. They had like three or four cotton buds sitting inside the wound in the head. I don't know how you can close that cut with those in there. You need to put pressure. Of course, you need to put adrenaline in there, but you need to put adrenaline in there and you need to put pressure on the cut and hold it together until the last second when that bell goes. Then you get out of the ring. But like I said, it's all an experience. Some of those guys may have never been there before. But then again, that's why you need people that have been there to make sure that doesn't happen.
Jeff, he may have lost, Tim Tszyu, to Fundora, but I reckon he won a lot of the Aussie hearts, considering that he fought 8 or 9 rounds with blood pissing out of his forehead and only just lost.
Tony, there's no doubt about that. But again, we go back, did he have to do that? I said, does anybody ever question how great this kid's becoming, how tough he is, what he's gone through? Yeah, nobody. When the dog bit him, he fought the next week or something like that. Nobody's got to question Tim Tszyu's ticker or mentality. He's got everything. Now he doesn't have to start again because he's there. He's an unbelievable boxer that the world is talking about now. But like I said, I just hope that whatever happens next, he gets over that hurdle and gets back into the groove that he was in prior to the Fundora fight.
Well, I tell you what is going to happen, Jeff, in terms of social media, YouTube, Instagram, etc. He will always be on the replay tapes, considering what he went through and the exposure to that type of scenario.
Yeah, like I said, Tony, that's the world we live in today. But was it smart to put him through that? I don't know.
Jeff, as trainers and coaches and managers, we always look in the best interest of the fighters. Well, we hope so anyway. They're not being a ring.
That's what upsets me about the referee and the doctor.
Correct.
It's their job to look after these guys. And yeah, we can be the toughest guys in the world, and we are, and Tim showed that. But it's my job. It's my job as a trainer to not let that happen. If I was the referee, it's my job as the referee not to let that happen. If I was the doctor, it's my job as a doctor not to let that happen. There were 3 groups of people there that all let the fight continue. And I don't, like I said, in this day and age, with what we're going through, the protocols, it's crazy.
Samson said to us, he walked into Tim Tszyu's dressing room and there was over 20 people in there, had a whole entourage. And that still baffles me until today, that nobody in that room stood up and said, this fight needs to stop. Because blood's different to water. It's thick. It actually blocks your vision. And how can you let that much blood come out of somebody's head for 12 rounds when they're fighting at an elite level and enduring the punishment that they are on their bodies? It's still not going through my head how they would let that happen.
Yeah, maybe they're all thinking what we all already knew, that Tim's a kind of Superman. He can do all these amazing things. But again, when you don't have to do something, if you don't have to walk over, red hot water, or if you don't have to walk through nails, why walk through them when you don't have to? If you have to, you have to get that other side. Hey, you got to do it. But when you don't have to do it, like I said, Tim's not complaining. That's the main thing. And like I said, for me to see the sportsmanship Tim showed and the gratitude he showed to his opponent after was super, super special. But again, he could have done that after 4 rounds and apologised for what happened and explain that this, I couldn't see, which he couldn't. But like I said, life goes on and we've got to move to the next step. And if he's going to fight Virgil Ortiz, it's a very, very big step up.
That was going to be my next question. Can he beat Ortiz?
He can beat anybody. No, listen, I have the most confidence in Tim. Tim has an engine better than most boxers. Yeah, he can do what he does in the 6th round, what he done in the 2nd. He can do what he done in the 10th, what he done in the 6th, and he can do what he done in the 10th, what he done in the 12th, what he does in the 10th. So he's blessed with a great engine and works really hard and believes in himself. And again, that showed while he was bleeding how much he believed in himself.
Hey,
go on, Tony.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, Ahmed. Jeff, is Tim Tszyu now big enough to fight consistently on the world stage outside of Australia?
Oh, definitely so. I mean, Tim gives boxing fans what they want. I mean, I've watched over the last few months all these different fights on TV. One Tim Tszyu fight is like watching 10 of those other fights. You know, some of those fights put you to sleep. Tim's are all action. Tim's a very, very special fighter. And don't worry about his surname. Tim Tszyu himself is a very, very special fighter.
Jeff, if you had Tim Tszyu, would he be fighting Virgil Ortiz next?
Well, if he won against Fundora, which he would have, and he's going to get 25 million, which he may have got if he'd been world champion. Yeah, of course I'd let him fight, because again, I honestly believe Tim can beat anybody.
Hey, Jeff, do you reckon Tim is pissed off with his camp?
Look, no, I don't think so, Tony. He's just such a beautiful human. He's a really lovely guy. I've known Tim since birth, but I don't have this crazy close relationship now. But every now and then we'll message each other, and I have total respect for Tim. I have total respect for Tim as a human, and his corner, and he's not stupid. His corner and Tim made a mistake. He's forgiven him, man. I take my hat off him, man. Great human. Most other people would have jumped up and down, sacked this guy, sacked that guy. Tim just going back to business, going back to work, and he's more than happy with what he's getting. And like I said, I take my hat off to Tim, an amazing human. And his manager, Glenn Jennings, these guys are good people.
Jeff, one question that is always on top of is on my mind. I mean, his dad was a phenomenal fighter, and on the world stage everywhere, he did what not many Aussies have done before. Why is he not in his corner?
Beg your pardon, sorry?
Why is Costa Tszyu not in Tim Tszyu's corner? Do you know much about that? Yeah,
well, no, you'll have to ask Costa Tszyu. But Costa's obviously busy. He's in Russia. I wouldn't care if my boy was fighting in Mars. I'm jumping on a plane and going to Mars and watching my son fight, especially for the world title. But we're all different. Tim and Nikita, like I said, they know their family, they know the situation. They just get on with life.
Nikita Tszyu fought last night. Did you get a chance to watch the fight? And if you did, what are your thoughts on his rise through the sport? Is he Tim, or is he a step behind, you reckon?
No. Nikita's getting better. He's not the same fighter as his brother. His brother's a skillful guy, a great thinker, got a great eye that doesn't get hit a lot, and and Nikita got hit once in the 6th round last night, and again was
and it rocked him.
Yeah, he was rocked, and Danilo's not a real big puncher, but he landed it nice. And I've just been reading some stuff because obviously my old protege Brock Jarvis is somebody there trying to set up the fight Nikita, and I've seen a little article where Nikita wrote that he sparred Brock, years ago and had no problem. What Nikita's got to realise is when he sparred Brock, and I wasn't with Brock then, but I know, Brock was 14 years old, weighed 44 kilos, had never had a fight before. Nikita was fighting, so if you didn't beat him up, Nikita, I wouldn't be fighting him later on. So I'm just saying, Nikita was saying how he beat Brock up. He beat up a young kid who was like 44 kilos, And Brock's improved a lot. And Brock, I know for a fact he's training with Brian Doyle. They're working really hard on, some new techniques and changing a few things. And listen, I know Brock's been hit and hurt. Brock's going to shock the boxing world again. I think that Brock is that if he starts thinking and doesn't make the mistakes that he has made, he's going to be fine.
Jeff, do you miss Brock?
Oh, I love Brock. He's like my son. There's, I have my son Bo, who I love to death, and Brock was like my second boy. And I miss him tremendously. I speak to him. The great thing is Hass and Brock and Kate, my fighters. Since this sickness, they ring me every day. They all care about me. And Brock's showed, that he's pretty worried about me. Hass rings me 20 times a day. So I'm blessed. I've got a great little team around me. But like I said, Brock will always be somebody special. He was the reason why I got back into boxing. He made me love the sport again. He made me love everything that he'd done because he's just one of these guys who had the most amazing work ethic. And, I'm wishing him luck now. He's done a deal with No Limit, who are very, very smart because Brock's good looking. He can fight. He's got a great record. And
he looks like Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, and he's not going up too many weights, hopefully, and he'll be okay.
That was actually going to be my next question. There was footage of him walking into No Limit headquarters, and apparently he's signed with them. We have now a very interesting situation in Australian boxing, Jeff, and I think you're the perfect person to sort of give us an overlook.
Why do you guys keep asking me all the hard questions?
Because you're the one with the most knowledge, so you got the most responsibility, mate. You got to give us the answers. Channel 7's done a deal with
Angelo
DiCarlo, Ace Boxing. We're hearing some very positive things from their talk shows, their fight nights, audience-wise, so on. We've got No Limit doing their thing on Fox. We've got Danny Green doing his thing on Stan. Give us some raw insights of what Jeff Fenech thinks of all this, because this is really a really crucial time for the sport. It's never been more divided. Yet
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how great is it that we've got 3 platforms that are all pulling against each other for the sport of boxing instead of getting together and let's try to make those three platforms one that can showcase everybody and give everybody the most publicity they can get, and to save guys like poor Angelo DiCarlo putting all his money out of his own pocket into a promotion, and it's tough for those guys, and listen, good luck to the Rose boys. They've done a great job. I'm huge fans. I'm great friends with the Rose family. They deserve everything they've got, and they haven't stepped on anybody's toes to get it. Fox have given them that opportunity and given them that platform. So, hey, if they gave it to me, I'd be taking it too. So, good luck to the Rose boys. But I would love to see the day where boxing in Australia unite. We Danny Green, for instance, Angelo DiCarlo, the Rose boys all work together and give each other's boys a bite on everybody's show, and let's work together for the good of Australian boxing.
So, do we have a positive outlook, Jeff, or should we be concerned? To put it very bluntly.
To be honest, I'm concerned. I'm concerned how long can poor Angelo DiCarlo continue to lose his own money. I'm not sure what position Danny's in, but I'm sure Danny's not in that position. Danny's a very, very smart human, and Danny has worked hard. And, with his name, he's obviously going to get some preferential treatment, which he deserves. And then the Rose boys, have really got the red carpet rolled out for him. And again, they're the ones who worked hard to get into that position. And good luck to them. Like I said, I know the circles of Australian boxing are this guy's this. There's all that bullshit talk going around, which is always bad for the sport, but and it's always been around the sport. And at this day and age, I say it's not going to change. So Australian boxing is always going to be the same way. And look, some of our guys have had chances recently, like Liam Wilson. Liam, again, he won the world title. They robbed him. He should have let me be in the corner that day, and I would have there would have been a couple of dead referees and judges, but he would have got the rematch for the title straight away and been world champion. Like I said, I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because they're all my friends, and I don't want to individually pick one out and say good or bad about them. I just wish them all the luck in the world, and I just hope Australian boxing continues to flourish. But like I said, it will flourish if we can all work together. We'd be in a much better position.
Well, speaking of flourishing, we saw Harry Garside warm your seat last night next to Ben Damon at the Nikita Tszyu fight. When can we see you back in the commentary box?
You know what? I was very close to, because I was going to get this out a day earlier, but because I got drained the morning of the fight, I didn't do my Fox and commitment. But I truly love my little job there because, like I said, I have the opportunity to say it how I see it. A lot of people don't like what I say, but I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm forever going to tell the truth. And if I tell the truth and people go back and look and think, wow, he's told the truth, it's going to make them better people. And that's how I feel. Like I said, I'm not here to
sugarcoat anything.
Yeah, to sugarcoat or to criticise people. Look, if I can make the sport better by saying something, somebody can say Jeff's right, then I'm really, really happy. If I can make a fighter better by me identifying a weakness or something that he done wrong, or a corner doing that, like I said, I'm more than happy to do it. But again, when you do this, you always risk. Maybe I'm risking my job. Who knows? Maybe I'm risking, a lot of things. But if I'm telling the truth and I'm risking whatever I'm risking, I'm happy to do it.
Now, I've got one more before I send you back to Ahmed, Jeff. Your great mate Mike Tyson is jumping into the ring with Jake Paul July 20 in Texas in some 2 to 3 months' time. Now, everybody knows of your relationship with the heavyweight champion of the world. What's going through his mind, and two, how do you see it unfolding?
If Mike just takes his time and doesn't go, just lets Jake Paul try to punch him, then counter punch him, it could be over in 30 seconds in a round. But
in whose favour?
Tyson, of course. But listen, when you have that, well, when I was around Mike, I used to say Mike was like a light switch. When he was on, he was on. When he was off, he was off. But I think that he's matured, and the Mike Tyson story today is most probably one of the greatest stories in sporting history. I mean, when I think about sporting heroes and people, I think of Muhammad Ali. I just think of what a human he was and what an amazing man he was to risk everything, just to be honest. And today I think Mike's kind of taken a real leaf out of his book, and Mike just tells it the way it is. And listen, for 100 million, I'd be doing it too.
Wow. Jeff, this is my last one before I let you go and rest up. Robert Garcia is known as the Australian boogeyman, or the one who sort of knows how to be an Australian fighter. He's done it to Billy Dibb. He's done it to Maloney. He's done it to Billy Dibb twice, actually. And he enjoys training. He's actually mentioned that he enjoys training fighters for to fight against Aussie fighters. Do you think this is a step too high for Tszyu?
Like I said, definitely not. If Tim prepares properly, but it's a tough fight. Is the fight that I'll take straight after that big cut? I think about it, and you've got to sit down. We don't know what he's getting. We don't know what the deal is. So very hard for any of us to talk. But it is a tough fight. Tim's always taken the tough fights and won. So mentally he'll be thinking that as well. So it's every fight's tough. Look at the last fight against Fundora. Nobody expected that, but look what it turned into.
Anything can happen.
Instead of a fight, and he lost.
Yeah, anything can happen, definitely. All right, Jeff, mate, we
just
absolutely...
before we go.
Yes, tell me.
Just a real quick one. I want to say a huge thank you to my hero, my wife Susie, who has been with me 24 hours a day. I've driven her mad, and I hope I never have to do this to her again.
Wow. We send our love and best wishes to Susie and the Fenech family.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you very much. And I hope the listeners can understand where I'm coming from when from what I've said today.
100%, mate. Everything we say here is in the best interest of the sport and only the sport. We have no biases, just to make that nice and clear. We try to get all sides. We call all parties, literally, to jump on this show. So that's nice and clear. Jeff, thank you so much, mate. I appreciate you jumping on. It's an absolute pleasure as always. Tony, thank you, buddy. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Jeff.
We'll catch you all on the next episode of Raw Sport. Take care, everyone.